to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host, Gungo Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Wednesday for another review. On today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the movie Meet the Khumalos. So, Meet the Khumalos is a 2025 South African romantic comedy directed by Jayan Moodley. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. I understand it's a remake of another movie or series. I'm not so sure. You can go and check it up if you really want to know more about the movie. But I loved it. It's very, very funny. I love the comedic timing and everything about it. I was planning on watching another South African movie for today, but then I saw that Kanye Mbao is on it, and I was like, I have to watch this. Because Kanye Mbao, for those who do not know, she stars on Young, Famous and African, and I really didn't like her character on Young, Famous and African. But then on this one, I was like, she's an actress. I didn't know that about her, by the way. And I was like, oh, and she's starring on a romantic comedy. I have to see this. Because I saw what is it called? The trailer, and I was very excited about it and I wanted to watch it. So I had to swap the movie that I was supposed to watch today with Meet the Khumalos. So Meet the Khumalos stars Kanye Mbao as Grace Khumalo, Ayanda Boroto, hope I'm saying that correctly, as Bongi Sitole, Jesse Suntele as Sizwe Khumalo, Kosi Ngema as Sfe Sitole. She also acted on Blood and Water, which is a South African TV series you have to watch. And Alizwa Sikafungana as Lucy Tole. She plays Sfe's younger sister. Bonga Dlamini as Vusi Khumalo. That is Grace Khumalo's husband and Sizwe's dad. And then Siabonga Shibe as Desmond Sitole. That is Bongi Sitole's husband and Sfe and Lu Sitole's dad. And Connie Chume as Mavis, who is Vusi Khumalo's mother, and other cast members. Okay, so they're amazing. Their acting, I thought it was good. I've only started like watching a lot of South African and a lot of Nigerian movies because usually I repeat TV series. My friends, I have a lot of TV shows and movies to get through on my list, Netflix list, but I don't watch them because I finish a series, I start watching a new one, and I'm like, you know what? I miss the other characters, I miss their stories, and then I go back there. And so I just never watch whatever I'm supposed to be watching. So I do not know a lot of these people, so I'm learning. But I feel like I've watched Connie Chume on something else. Like that is she plays Mavis, that is Grace's mother-in-law and Vusi Khumalo's mom. I don't know where I've seen her, but I definitely have watched her on another movie. So if you love spoilers like me, please continue with this. But if you do not like, this is official spoiler alert, and I'm telling you, just get out right now. Okay, because they're going to be major spoilers, because I'm going to be talking basically about the entire movie. So, Meet the Khumalos starts with Grace Khumalo. She's preparing some dishes in her, okay, they have like an open plan in their house. So because the mother-in-law is on one table and she's on another table, so I don't know who's on the dining table and who's on the watch table, but they're doing that. So the mother-in-law is preparing mud for the face. Apparently it's mud that is medicinal mud for your face. And so and and Grace is preparing a meal for the new neighbors who are expected to be joining the community anytime soon. So while they're doing that, their son Sizwe, he comes from upstairs and says hi, gives the grandma a kiss and blah blah blah. He's planning on going out because he has a debate or something that he has to attend to. And so before he goes, the neighbors arrive and all the Khumalos leave their house and go to meet the Sitoles. So at this time, Grace doesn't know that the Sitoles, the neighbors are the Sitoles, and that one of the Sitoles is her former best friend, Bongi. So they were childhood friends. They lived in the same township and stuff like that. But then something happened while they were adults. And so they haven't spoken for years and they hate each other. I put hate very madly and I put it in quotes because, I mean, once you love somebody, you can just never hate them like that. You can disagree and you can feel like you hate them, but I don't think you can truly hate them with everything in your soul. So I'm putting it in quotes, but you can interpret it however you want, okay? So this family goes, okay, we pan to the Sitoles. They're leaving their township. So apparently they run this business, a tour business around the area. I had mastered the name of this township and I've forgotten about it completely. But it's a beautiful township. And so they ran it and I loved Bongi from the moment they started showing her because she's a character. So they do that and now they move to the new area that's in Durban. And so they go there and they get into their beautiful house and the neighbors ring the bell, so they go outside to meet them. And when the gate opens, it's one of those gates that open pole pole, like with wheels. So as it opens one at a time, the Khumalos are being revealed. And finally, it's Grace Khumalo. But then Grace is looking at the other people also because one at a time is being revealed as well. So she looks and she looks and she looks, and then her eyes land on Bongi. And she's like, what? So she yells and she's like, this is the most like evil woman ever. And Bongi calls her this Satan and stuff. Like, it was chaotic. And their husbands were like, oh, oh. But then, it was like everybody back into the house. So everybody leaves. The Kumalos leave and go back to their home. And the Sitoles, they go back into the house. So it is revealed very quickly, again, that they hate each other passionately. Kumalo has cameras on her walls that are facing directly to the Sitole home, which I think is illegal because that is invading someone else's privacy and that is wrong because you wouldn't do that to me. I'll break all those cameras. I know that will be vandalism, but I'd rather vandalize your cameras than allow you to be checking me every time I'm in my compound. And like, because Grace like did that for a while, just following her everywhere she goes around her compound. She'll be like, oh, she's here, she's here, she's here. Her husband, Vusi, kept telling her, like, stop doing that, you're going crazy, I'm worried about your mental health. And she was like, I don't care. Like, who cares about my mental health? If you want to care about my mental health, I don't know what she told him to do, but she was like, oh, like, get this woman out of this environment. But yeah, so it just was chaotic. So the kids are at the debate and the parents are watching them on TV. So the kids are Sizwe Kumalo and Sfesitole. They are apparently boyfriend and girlfriend. They've been dating for 6 months and they haven't told their parents yet. And now when the parents met and these guys freaked out, they're afraid of telling them. So they do the debate and then they start making out a little bit on the corridor and then they go back home. Everybody separate houses. And so they had organized a trip to go somewhere for a retreat. So the guy wanted to go for camping, but the lady wanted a hotel. But they agreed to just go camping because the guy wanted to introduce her to his passions. And so they drive. He says that he's going for a medical camp or something like that. I don't remember, but something like for a camp somewhere. And the lady also says something for school. She's going to for a sleepover for something for school. And so once they leave, the mom, Bongi, sees what is happening because the daughter leaves the house and she goes round. Actually, she was looking at Sizwe. Sizwe left the house with the mom's car. He drove around and he goes and parks somewhere and it's fair enters his car. Before they do, they start hugging and kissing a little bit. And Bongi was shocked. She was like, what? And so she was like, let me tell the Satan. And so she goes and starts yelling on her balcony. She yells for Grace, who's in her home. And like the neighbors, a white woman is like, what is happening? I had some noise and blah, blah, blah. And so Grace is like, no, don't worry. It's just a cultural thing. And apparently, when you say that in South Africa, the white people shut up. They don't ask about it anymore, which is crazy. And so That happens. And Bongi tries to tell Grace about it, but Grace is like, no, I can't believe you. My son would never. And so she goes back into the house, invades her son's privacy by checking his laptop, which I'm like, if these guys are going for a school thing, why did he leave his laptop behind? But yeah, whatever. So she does that and she guesses the password, which was crazy. But then after doing that, she checks the itinerary and she knows where they are because she even checked her phone to see like location. And she goes into Bongi's compound and she's like, hey, we are going after them. I know where they are. And so they do. The women drive and Bongi is the one who's driving. Somehow, Grace is sat at the back seat. I don't know why. And Bongi is driving at the front seat. Bongi is always eating. She always has this dish that it has food inside all the time. So Grace is the one who's carrying it in the back seat. I do not understand why. And Bongi, while she's driving, whenever there's a stop, she starts eating. So eventually, Grace gets tired of this and she moves to the front seat and she sits there and they drive all the way to where the camping site is. They go because she has a spare key. She opens the boot of the car and they want to steal as many things as possible from the car so that the kids can be uncomfortable. But then once they just start doing that, they hear the Sizwe and Sfe coming back, and so they keep quiet and they lie down, which was crazy because the way these people were hiding, you could just see them. They didn't even go under the cars. They were like in between two cars. The car, her car, like Grace's car that Sizwe was driving, and another car. They were lying between those two cars. And I'm like, that's not hiding. Because Sizwe is tall enough. If he stands even just at the back of the car, he will see something. But then, apparently he's blind or something because he didn't see them. So anyway, they keep trying to shush each other, the women, because the kids are there and they start kissing and making out. And the lady is like, she's flirting with Caesar proper. And so the mom is so disgusted. The moms are so disgusted. But then the manager of the camping site, he comes and tells them, hey, your camping site is ready. There's a lion on the loose, but don't worry about it. You just come. I think your camping site is safe. So the two kids they follow, and when I say kids, I mean these are adults. They are young adults, so they're over 18. So they go to the house, to the camping site, and they start camping all the way. Actually, while they were driving there, Sizo kept trying to tell Sfe that he's in love with her, but he couldn't bring the words out. And so at the camping site again, he tries, but then he just failed. So he's like, okay, I'm going to pee. When he goes to pee, the mamas, they have come and they're lying behind a bush. Hey. And so Caesar comes and pees on the bush, and the mom and Bongi, they're lying there again. This guy is blind because we could see them. Even through the camera, we could see them. We could see them. They were there. We could see that tell their clothes because they were wearing very, very light colored clothes. We could see them. But apparently, Sizwe again could not see the mom or Bongi. So he pees. And while he's peeing, these mamas, where they're lying, Aki the urine was going into their mouth, into their faces. There was a Versace bag there belonging to Grace. It was peed on. She went home and threw that bag away. And I was like, it is your son's pee. I do not care if it's a Versace bag. You clean it up and you store. Because you carried it all the way. You carried it. Anyway, I've gone too far ahead. Let's bring it back. So he pees and he goes back. And so they start making noises, like scary noises. And so the kids run into the tent, trying to hide from whatever it is that is in the bushes. But then the mamas continue making these noises because they're like, yo, we scared them and now they're getting into the tent instead of running away. So they continue making the noises and shaking bushes and stuff until the kids are like, oh, we have to leave. And so they go. So Sfe is like, why did you bring me here? I didn't want camping, blah, blah, blah. They have a little fight, but then he apologizes and they move on. They get home. So again, when they got home, the mamas plan to ruin this relationship because there's no way Grace wants, like, and to share grandkids with Bongi. She actually said that. So they plan on how to bring this relationship down. So they see them again at the corner, Sizwe dropping Sphere back home. And so they plan everything. They start little tactics. So what they do, actually, the first thing Grace does is to try and convince Sizwe to go abroad for uni. But Sizwe is like, yeah, I'm not leaving because I have things to do here. And so, and it's fair. I don't remember what the mom tried to make her do, but she was also like, yeah, no. So they go on plan two, introduce new people. So they introduce this lady. Oh, Jehovah. Nandipa Kubone. She plays Charlotte. She comes for a Bible study session at the Khumalos. When I say Bible study session, I put it in quotes because apparently she's a born again Christian, but yo, the way she's behaving, nothing Christian about her. She's all out, pushing herself onto Caesar. But yeah, so they introduce Nandipa Kubone as Charlotte. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. And also, there was another funny character. He was a musician. I forget his name, but he's a rapper. And I'm going to put rapper in quotes because yo, no. So they do that. So at the Khumalos, Charlotte arrives, and at the Sitoles, that rapper guy arrives. And this rapper guy, the way he was laughing, if you follow this guy, Dennis Ndenga, I think that's his name, on IG, he's one of the people from Crony Productions. He plays this character called Hosea. They do these little skits where he plays Hosea. I can just go and check him out. Dennis Ndenga, I hope he's the one. Check him out and go to his page and check. He plays a character called Hosea. And Hosea is I think he's a delivery guy who delivers things to Mama Ryan. And so whenever he does, there's this laugh he has, this specific laugh he has, which is it's annoying, but then also funny. It's the type of laugh that is so annoying that you find it funny. But if you continue listening to it, you probably want to pierce your own ears so that you don't hear it anymore. So this guy has that laugh as well. And it was very, very disturbing. Like, oh my God. And the way he's explaining himself, it's like he's a person with no purpose. He wants to be a rapper. He's a rapper. But then the kind of music he does, yo, no. But also, like, I don't understand why Bongi was doing this to Sphere because that's not the kind of man that a mother would want for her daughter. It's not like a bad person, but with your daughter going to uni and everything, trying to hook her up with somebody who didn't, who doesn't have a career goal or career path or something like that. That was a crazy thing for me. While on the other hand, Caesar was being, sold to this Charlotte character and she was somewhat the it thing, you know. So anyway, they try that, and this lady is touching on Sizwe and all of that, using the Bible, talking about a verse in Ruth, and all of that. I don't even remember what the verse was saying, but they do that. So Sisu is like, I kind of understand what is going on here, but he's playing it cool. And so after all that madness, blah, 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 she goes to leave and the mom and Bongi, they talk and they're like, phase two, they're about to leave. Because I think Bongi is the one who texts, like they're on the move. So Sphere is taking that rapper guy out, like to go and get into his car and go. And so Grace forces Caesar to take Charlotte outside as well. So they go and they meet outside there, outside the gate. They are separate gates. And so both of them have blind dates and stuff. And so they somehow convince that guy, okay, that guy, the rapper guy, convinces Charlotte to drive with him to go off. And the way his car operates, that I don't think the driver's side can open the door. So he makes her enter through the passenger door. Actually, he opens the passenger door. He gets in first and goes to the driver's seat. And then Charlotte enters and locks the door. It was crazy. But anyway, so they leave and they go. The guy starts talking, the kid starts talking outside there, and they're talking about a trip they were planning, I think. And so Grace is on the balcony and she's watching them. And so Sizwe wants to like kiss her, but she tells him like your mom is on the balcony. So they pretend to be fighting because they are like being very loud with their hands, with their body, like throwing hands, blah blah blah. And but what they're saying to each other is actually sweet. And then so the mom leaves and they kiss and they go back into their houses. Now, there are these two men, Vusi Kumalo and Desmond Sitole. They're the husbands to Grace and Bonge respectively. So they had no issues. Like after that moment they met at the gate and they were asked to go to their separate houses, they met again while they were going to throw garbage and they were just did that nod thing you do when you're trying to say hi to somebody. And so they start hanging out again after they meet again at a different, I think it was a restaurant or something. I think a place where people who work go to sit and eat. I don't know, like it's a market sort of thing. I don't know. But then Vusi is used to being like paka anapewa mati ya meza and everything so that he can eat from there. And so Desmond is like, yo, why are you eating like this? Because Desmond has this nyama choma, what they call brai, and I think something that looks like ugali and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, eat some beef, man, or it was goat meat, I don't know. And so he's like, well, I don't mind if I do, because Grace will never find out. And so they become friends. They start hanging out behind their wives' backs. So the mamas are still planning on the downfall of these kids. So they do a couple of things. Other than that, they go to like another phase where they're like, okay, now let's go to church. And so they go to church, all the families are in church. The kids are, smiling at each other, chini ya maji. But then the pastor introduces Charlotte as the new, I don't know who, speaker for the day, and she stands there, she's talking about how she used to be controlled by her body, blah blah blah, and now she's changed, nini nini, all these things. And this part, the pastor says something about you should love your neighbor, and Grace is like, no, you should, and it was a very very specific thing that Christians do. They nitpick at what they want to do from the Bible. They're like, yeah, you are supposed to love all your neighbors, but no, we are gonna hate on the LGBTQ plus community because they are devils. But the Bible says that you should love your neighbors, but they shouldn't be our neighbors. They should all die. I mean, Christians. Anyhow, so that happens, and so they continue doing a lot of things. They push these kids together because Mavis, with her company for the clay, the mud for the face, she tells Charlotte that she wants her to be her brand ambassador. So they tell her to do this photo shoot for that business. And Grace, of course, she has an agenda, a hidden agenda for pushing this. But Mavis thinks that she's doing that because she wants to earn in on the business. And Grace is like, I'm not interested. Because she just wants to push her son to Charlotte. And so they organize and they go for that. And they do this photo shoot. Nani comes over, Sizwe, and he's supposed to remove his shirt. And I don't know why. That thing is for the face, but they were making Charlotte apply it on his chest. And so the mom, Grace, took photos of that using Sizwe's phone and sent the pictures to Sfe. When she saw that, she cried, she was upset, and the mom sort of had won because she went into her room. The mom came and like, it seems like a boy broke your heart. And she's like, yes. And she's like, you better break up with him because anybody who will make you cry is not worth it. And so Fair sends a very terrible text to Sizwe with like, we're done, and then something else. So she sends him the breakup message and he sees it and he's like, what is happening? Because he didn't know. Because after the mom took the photos and sent them to Sfe, she deleted them. Sizwe had no idea. Now, Sfe was planning for something. I think it's a South African coming of age ceremony for ladies. It's called Memulo, if I'm not mistaken. It's for the Zulu community. They were planning for it. They've been talking about it since the beginning of the movie. And so they'll be preparing for that. And they were doing all these things. She was learning how to dance, learning how to do all these things. And so what after Caesar sees the message, he tries to go to her home to check if she's there and to talk to her. And so the mom, Grace, is downstairs and he's like coming down and he wants to leave. Grace is like, "Where are you going? I want to talk to the girl next door because I'm in love with her." And for some reason, I have not been able to tell her those words. So now she's broken up with me. She's saying all these things and I do not understand why she's doing that. So I'm going to try and see what's happening because I just don't get it. So the mom is like, "Okay." And she sends a message to Bongi, like Sizo is on his way over there to Sphere's training because she was learning how to dance for the celebration, like going over what was going to happen during the Memulo celebration. She tells Bongi, and Bongi calls the husband, and she's like, "It's about Sphere, you have to go to where they are practicing." And so he goes, and everybody goes there. And so Sizwe comes because she's hurt, and he tries to say some things, and so everybody stops him because like, "Yo, what's happening?" And so he says some things which are hurtful, and Sphere is like, "Yo, you are the one who hurt me, you're the one who sent me, you're cheating, and you sent me these photos of you and that woman." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" So at this point, Grace comes out and says like, "Yeah, I know it was me." And she goes like, "Bongi and I planned it, blah blah blah," and everybody's like, "What? So you're in on this together?" And Bongi tries to refute it. She's like, "Yo, I'd already told you that we should stop," because she's looking at her daughter and how hurt her daughter is, and the daughter is like, "Mom, you did this to me." And so she tries to get back out of it, and Grace is like, "You're going to do this to me again? You're going to leave me again?" And so they talk about it like, "You're the one who left me, blah, blah, blah." And Grace is like, "No, I needed you. We had agreed to meet at the train station and then you never showed up. And so I had to leave by myself. And you haven't spoken ever since." And Bongi is like, "You're the one who ghosted me, never talked to me again." Like it's all blame game, blah, blah, blah. And so anyway, they leave. The parents, they go to their homes separately, and none of the kids want to talk to their parents, especially their moms. Fast forward, I think what happened hit Grace hard because she was afraid of going back to the township where she grew up, where she lived together with Bongi, because apparently her parents were both killed. I think she says murdered in that area. And so she's afraid of going back there. But then after this happens, she goes back, and Bongi tries to talk to Sphere. She apologizes. Also, Grace apologized to Sizwe. That part was a little bit rushed because I wanted to see these kids get a little bit more upset with their parents, not just banging doors and not wanting to talk to them on the stairs and stuff like that. It was very rushed, I think, that part. But anyway, that happens. They talk, they apologize, and they're like, "We're going to do something about it. Don't worry." So it happens. Like the day comes for the Memulo. Even saying it is just hard. So the day comes for that. And while Sphere is going for a celebration, the sister, Lou, she stops her and she's like, "Hey, mom has a surprise for you." And from the other side comes Sizwe dressed in African attire, which actually Sphere kept asking him if he was going to dress fully in that attire, African attire, and he kept saying no. Like I saw it was like a scene from Black Panther when Mbaku comes from the hills. Yeah, I felt like it was Mbaku coming from the hills with this group of armed men or whatever. But anyway, he looked good and she looked good too, dressed in by that time she was still in her lesso, but then later on she dressed in her South African traditional attire, I think the Zulu attire, and she's celebrating, she's being, it's like coming to the celebration, she's singing for her parents, like, "You brought me up, blah blah blah." It's a beautiful song. And so they did that, and Caesar is looking at her and is like, "God damn it, like this woman is beautiful." And he actually says that to her. Like he goes and says, I'm going to say something from the deepest part of my heart or something towards that point. I mean, you are so goddamn hard, or whatever he said. So they dance and they party, they leave the formal celebration, they go to the after party, they celebrate, they eat, they party, they dance, blah blah blah. And this rapper guy, he tries to rap, which he didn't actually. They never allowed him to do it, but he did. Like on the show, he did, but we didn't hear him rapping because he tried in a studio session at some point during when the mamas were being messy and chaotic. Sphere had to get a ride from him coming from school or somewhere, and so it was just crazy. It was just chaotic and crazy. But then he does that. They start rapping and they show the end credits. So the movie is over. And everybody comes forward, they start dancing, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, there's a song, apparently sung by Sizwe and Sphere. That is Jesse Suntele and Kosi Ngema. I don't know if they're musicians, but they were credited for the song at the end. So I hope it's them. Because if it's them, then they have beautiful voices. Because when Sphere was coming in singing her traditional song, her voice wasn't that good. But then at the end, she did that music. I don't know. Anyway, if she did, congratulations to her. It was a beautiful song. They do the whole entire song. I think they just wanted us to see the end credits. So they did. They sang beautifully and it ended. And that's how Meet the Khumalos ended. So, Meet the Khumalos. Beautiful, beautiful movie. I saw some ratings. Some people are like, yeah, terrible acting. But I found the acting to be good. The acting was good. I loved every aspect of it. The storyline was amazing. It was a simple movie. It was jovial. It was romantic. It was funny. They had chemistry. Like Sizo and Sfe had amazing chemistry. I loved it. The older parents also they had great chemistry. I love Bongi. I loved Bongi so much. I still will say that forever. I loved her character. I love her like Ayanda Boroto, I love her. I've never seen her on anything else, or I have. Because these faces are familiar, I just don't remember. I can't really place them. But I loved her so much. I loved her character, Bongi. She was like a happy go-getter. Like she just lived life. She didn't care much. She ate her food, felt happy, and that was her. So the story was so beautiful. I loved it. It was just a simple movie, like a Sunday afternoon kind of movie. The characters were amazing. I loved each and every one of them. Even that guy who was laughing like Hosea. That guy, he annoyed the hell out of me, but I was like, yeah. But anyway, the other characters were amazing. Anyway, he was playing a part and he played it well. So that means that everybody played their part well, and I loved it very much. The acting was great. I don't know why I saw reviews but somebody complained about the acting, because I loved it. It wasn't lagging or anything like that. I loved the acting and everything. Just it went well. The direction, the did they show a lot of Durban? Just the rich neighborhoods. They didn't show a lot of Manthari on this one. It was just short and sweet. Everything was done okay. Music, of course, South African music is always good. As I said at the end, that song that they played apparently is from these two kids. I don't know. I have to go and look deeper into it. And I'm supposed to be doing the research before doing these reviews. But sometimes, like today, it's a Sunday, I'm recording this. I've been tired. I watched it while I was doing something else. And so I finished it and I had to record tonight so that I can be able to edit it tomorrow. And then, okay, no. But in the future, I'll do better. I promise I'll do better. And yeah, I think everything else was good. The overall of it was just good. It was a relaxing movie. It wasn't meant to be too serious, I think. You shouldn't take it too seriously because I don't think they took themselves so seriously. I'd advise every one of you to go and watch because it's hilarious. I laughed a lot. I skipped a very important part, which was comedic gold. So when Grace comes from spying on the kids at the camping site, so her Versace bag was peed on by her son. So when they got home, she started removing everything from the bag, and there was a Bible, and there was what else was in that bag? There are a couple of things. I remember the Bible distinctively because that's the first thing that she removed from her bag and put it on her right side. She removed something else and put it on the left side. I think it was a Porsche or something. I don't remember what it was, but there was something else. And then the last thing she removed from that bag, and she was wearing gloves doing this. And I'm like, why are you wearing gloves now while you carried that bag all the way from the camping site? So it makes no sense. And she removed a vibrator. Oh my God. So while she removed it, she had her mother in law coming into the house, and so she hid it in the kitchen cabinet, one of the kitchen cabinets, and then I think she forgot about it. Sometime later, her mother-in-law comes and she's like, she's not feeling well, she needs like that vibrating thing that massages people, like there's this handheld thing that you can put on your neck or your back or wherever to massage you. And so she was asking for it, and and Grace was like, it's in the kitchen cabinet, go and get it. So Kumbe, mother-in-law went and took the vibrator, and that's what she was using. So that scene in church where Charlotte is talking about her past, blah blah blah, the mother starts like, cracking her neck and stuff, and then there's a vibrating sound. So she was sat next to Sizwe. It was Mavis, the mother-in-law, then Sizwe, and then Grace, and then her husband. And so everybody's hearing that buzzing sound, and Sizwe takes out his phone to check, and it's not his phone. His phone is not ringing, and he's like, "Yo, it's mom. Take your phone." The mom is like, "It's not me. Answer your phone." And he goes like, "It's not me. My phone is not ringing." And so Sizwe looks next to him, and he sees his grandma with a vibrator on her neck, and this is in church. She's in church with a vibrator on her neck. And she's just doing it, and there's somebody at the front was talking about the Bible. It was so hilarious. I laughed. I think I had a seizure or something. Because my mind, I've never had that feeling that I felt while I was laughing at that time. I had to pull myself out of it. It was scary for a bit. Because, like, what is that feeling? I've never felt that in my head, or my body has never felt like that. What is this? And then I just had to continue laughing because it was a very funny scene. Caesar was laughing hard because he was like, what is this? And so Grace jumped on the mom, the mom-in-law, to take it out. The mom is like, you're an evil woman. So the mom and Grace had this love-hate relationship from the beginning, because she, like, Mavis thought that Grace is the worst person on earth, and she said it repeatedly until Bungi was like, stop saying that. Oh, by the way, the moms also forgave each other at the end. So, I mean, as I said, it was a happy movie. At the end of it, everybody was happy, everybody was joyous, everybody was there at Sfez Memulo. So, everybody had reconciled with each other, and the men got drunk and they stood at the front and they were telling their wives that, you know what, we have been friends from the beginning. And they're like no. It was just funny. It was a very funny movie. So go and watch it. I'd advise you to go and watch it. For me, I love romantic comedies. For me, this one was a 10 out of 10. I didn't see any problem with it, but I know some people who are more critical about movies and about the things that they like to see. I find that such people only land on things that they don't like watching, and that's why they complain about them, because this movie was 100% funny. It was better than the other one, The Vow. So I love this. I really, really love this. So please go to Netflix and watch it, because I think it's a Netflix movie. So that's the only place you can watch it from. Go to Netflix and watch it. Okay, while you do that, after you do that, you can come back and comment and tell me if your thoughts are the same as mine, if you loved it as much as I did, or if you didn't, also tell me. You can also go to my Instagram, follow me there, Mimi's Musings Podcast. Tell me over there, because whenever I upload something, I put a little snippet of whatever I've uploaded that day, and you can comment on the comment section over there and just tell me what you thought about the movie. If you loved it like I did, if you laughed as hard as I did, and if you love the cast, and if you didn't know, like me, that Kanye Mbao is an actress. Because, I mean, I'm sure she said it on Young, Famous and African. I'm sure she said it there. I just didn't grasp it because, as I said, her character on there, I just didn't like her. But this has made me humanize her a little bit. I think I've loved her a little bit from watching her on this, and I should find some more movies that she has acted on. So yeah, go watch, come back, comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that whenever I upload something new, you can be amongst the first people to watch it. Okay, I love that you guys come back and support me. Thank you so much. Whoever does that, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please don't give up. Please continue coming. But also, can you tell the people around you to subscribe? I want at least 50 please. It's been 6 months and we are at 25 subscribers. 25, come on. I know you know somebody, they don't even have like to ever watch any. I want them to watch, but they don't ever have to. Like, just subscribe. Tell somebody to subscribe and tell them they don't have to. And please like the video whenever you watch. It tells YouTube that people like my content and they show it to more people and more people see it and they come to subscribe. People that I do not know, they also subscribe and they get more traction, and that's how I'll eventually be able to monetize this podcast. So please subscribe. Okay,